Hello and welcome to this detachment review video where we will be looking at the Anvil Siege Force from the new Space Marine Codex. We're going to run through some of the enhancements and stratagems available to you when you take this detachment, and also looking at some units and some combos, some really spicy ones I think that we've actually come up with, and a list at the end which we're going to review. So Jake, what is the army rule for the Anvil Siege Force?
Well, Jordan, the army rule for the Anvil Siege Force is the Shield of the Imperium.
Ooh.
So this is very much benefiting your sort of Imperial fist play style, I would say.
Yes.
You know, like this is the sort of theme of this attachment. But as we sort of go into this video, you're going to find maybe that may not be the optimal chapter to use this with, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
So what this does, very simple. Ranged weapons equipped by Adeptus Astartes models now have the heavy ability.
Cool.
So if you remain stationary, get +1 to hit.
Perfect.
In addition to that, if you already had the heavy keyword, or ability even, which we know in Space Marines is quite common with your intercessors and your heavy intercessors and your Hellblasters. Then what this does, it gives you +1 to wound as well as +1 to hit if you remain stationary.
Fantastic.
Really, really good on the surface.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those attachments where staying still is a benefit, and this is a game of being very mobile.
Yeah, you can live or die in the movement phase, can't you, in 40k? So I guess, when you look at it in that respect, it's a bit, right.
We will find there are ways of getting around it, little sort of things you can do.
Yeah.
But as I said, on the surface, like for things like your whirlwinds that have indirect, they want to be standing still anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Because they have the range of the table.
Yeah.
So that will counteract the indirect benefit there.
Yep.
If you can get something sort of like rapid ingress in, ready to preempt a turn, that would be super good. Or even just little things like, like you need to be on this objective type of thing. So you're not going to want to move anyway, and you've got good firing lanes. So really, really solid there, I think. Overall, I think it's an okay benefit.
Yeah,
I think the power more lies in maybe the stratagems.
Yeah, which obviously we'll come to. But it looks like it's going to take some preemptive planning in your games. When you're taking this army, you're going to have to think a turn ahead, really, aren't you? Like, cool, this is where I need to be. So I need to make sure I can get to that position, ready to get my shots off, or and go from there, aren't you? So, okay, cool. Well, let's look at some enhancements next and see what they can do.
But before we continue, I'd like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, The Outpost. If you're looking for great deals on your miniatures, paints and gaming supplies, we've got you covered. Their wide variety of exceptional service makes them the go-to destination for all hobby needs. So don't wait, check out The Outpost today. Link in the description below.
So the first enhancement, Indomitable Fury.
Okay.
So this is a Gravis model only.
Yep.
And the first time the bear is destroyed, at the end of the phase, you roll a dice. And on a 2+, the bearer gets back up as close as possible to where it was destroyed and not within engagement range of any enemy units with its full wounds remaining.
Okay.
So this is a good enhancement.
Yep.
So the Gravis Captain already is quite a tanky model. He halves damage. He's toughness 6 as well. My only thing is that limiting it to a Gravis model, it would have been really cool to see this on any modle, like a lieutenant with combi weapons, when it's a lone operative. If we can get back up after he's died, a Tech Marine would be really good for this.
Yeah, sure.
Don't get me wrong, still super useful because Gravis is a big theme in this list, I feel.
Yeah. Well, so the picture on the front is all Gravis Marines. So.
They're all the cool Imperial Fist heavy intercessors.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this isn't really jumping out at me.
No.
I don't think this is the best.
No, it's not really, and it'll be really horrible if you do roll that one and don't get back up.
That would.
That would hurt.
Let's not talk about that. However, let's talk about the next enhancement, Fleet Commander.
Okay.
So this is one that I really like because it is all about bombardment. So this is Captain model only. Once per battle, at the start of your shooting phase, you can select 1 point on the battlefield and place a marker on that point. At the start of your next shooting phase, place another marker on the battlefield within 12 inches of the centre of the first marker. Then draw a line between them. The centre of each of these markers. Roll a dice then. On a 3+, you suffer D3 mortal wounds and both markers are removed. So everything in the line suffers D3 mortal wounds. Now, only thing I don't like about this, right? You're jumping through loads of hoops.
Yep.
Right? It's just a lot.
there's like you've got your opponent has a whole turn to move out of the way.
Well, that's the thing. Like the fact that it's not instant. So you place one marker, and then as long as you make sure you're outside of 12 of the marker, which don't get me wrong, is a big space. Okay? Like if you put that in the middle of an objective marker, that's a massive space. Or even not even in the middle, but just like between two.
Yeah.
Then you could like potentially you could go one way or the other. But the fact that then it's not instant, and you then have to roll a dice to see if you take any damage, and then the end result of all of that is just D3 mortal wounds. You think like D6 mortal wounds, like maybe?
Yeah, that would be a bit more if you was having to wait the turn. Then D6 mortal wounds would be a bit more worth it because you could probably still get at least one unit to be hit, right? But the fact is D3, you could just roll a 1 and get 1 mortal wound.
Yeah,
on one
you've jumped through all those hoops. And even for the potential of nothing happening. Now, don't get me wrong, I think this is a good mind game thing. So you put it down and your opponent can go, well, I've got to be outside of 12 really of this in general.
Yeah.
It's a good way to target lone ops as well.
Sure, maybe
but again,
take a couple of wounds off.
Move out the way. It's not enough to kill a lone, maybe to finish off a lone op, but not to straight kill one.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you're going to be seeing this.
No, it's as sad as it is because this is a meme that.
If you've been playing since like 6th edition and stuff, you remember orbital bombardment, and you could place down like the.
Well, there used to be
templates.
In the old Imperial Fist supplement. There was a rule for it called Fleet Commander. So it's nice to see this make a return in the Imperial Fist themed detachment.
Right. Just would be nice to see it a little bit stronger.
Yeah. Sure. One that is okay though is Stoic Defender.
Yep.
So this is any Adeptus Astartes model. So now the first one that's not limiting us by what we can give it to.
Perfect.
While the bearer is leading a unit, models in that unit have a 6-up feel no pain while they're in range of an objective marker. Really good that. Now, after playing against something like Deathwing Knights with a Pendant of Remembrance, LGT, having a big unit that is very tanky, even just with a 6-up feel no pain, can be the difference between 3 damage killing 1 or 6 damage killing 1.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So that's really good. And on top of that as well, while you're battle shock, you half your AC characteristic rather than reducing it to 0.
So that's important because you can never go to 0 then with that, right?
Well, exactly, because 1 would become 0.5 and you always round up. So,
exactly, I think it's also actually, I think that's really good on heavy intercessors. So like if you had a captain leading them maybe, because heavy intercessors shine in this detachment anyway.
Heavy intercessors, terminators, any form of gravis really. Or even just your regular intercessors, they go from AC2 to AC1, like it still means they hold the objective.
This is it. But also what you got to think about with the heavy intercessors is they get +1 save on an objective. So they get a 2-up save and then 6-up feel no pains as well. Like it's
good.
Pretty tanky.
It's good.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, and then to round it all out, we've got Architect of War. Adeptus Astartes model only. Again, with not limited. It can be any of them. And then while the bearer is leading a unit, ranged weapons by models in that unit have ignores cover. So again, pretty decent. Yeah. Good on your heavy intercessors, your aggressors.
Hellblasters,
Desolation Marines.
Yeah.
Anything really. I think that's a good little enhancement to have.
Definitely.
Not the best, but still a good enhancement.
If you add points, you can put it in, right?
Yeah. If you've got some spare points, give your unit ignores cover.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that. Righty-ho. And that's all the enhancements.
Nice.
So overall, not the greatest.
They're average.
But they're not awful, right?
Yeah, like there's still a plays for them. You can still utilise them in your list. I think Stoic Defender's definitely
I was about to say, definitely can see a place for Stoic Defender.
Yeah.
Definitely can see a place for Architect of War.
But the other two?
The other two, not so much.
Yeah.
Maybe on the Gravis one, give it to Biologus, just so then, because he's quite integral to that unit. But then you have to ask yourself, if it's only really good against precision?
Yeah.
For a lone, if you could give this to a lone op, it'd be great, but sadly you can't.
It's so sad. Imagine a lone op like Lieutenant Gravis.
You can have a captain in Gravis armor just sort of milling about on his own with this on. I guess that wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah. There's plays, right? So I think it's important to note there are plays with them, but the main one is Stoic Defender and Architect of War. So overall, average bunch of enhancements. Yeah. But hopefully, let's look at some stratagems. Let's see what spice we can come up with here, mate.
Yeah. Let's take a moment to appreciate Colourforge, our fantastic sponsor. Their range of spray paints has become our go-to for making our miniatures come to life quickly and efficiently. The quality and variety of colours they offer are truly unmatched, providing a smooth application for stunning effects every time. Check out Colourforge for your next hobby project.
So the first stratagem we're going to speak about is the one that every Space Marine detachment has.
Wait, Armor of Contempt.
It is AOC. Armor of Contempt. So just in case you're not familiar with it, this is what it does. So in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, any player's fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets, you pick one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that was a target of that attack, and for the remainder of the phase, you worsen the AP characteristic of your opponent by 1. It's the brown bread. We know it all.
Yeah.
It's been the same for every detachment.
Yeah.
It's a very common stratagem to see, but boy, it's a good one. Right?
It's perfect on Space Marines. It just helps you feel a bit better.
Yeah, super powerful in my opinion. I think it's a great stratagem to sort of offset a lot of armies. Great if you combo it with cover as well,
Yeah,
if they're AP2,
yeah.
let's say. But yeah, overall a good
Really good,
stratagem.
really good.
But let's move into something different now. Let's
Yeah.
go to no threat too great.
Okay.
This is 2 command points. Your shooting phase when Adeptus starts a unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot.
Yep.
Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack against a monster or vehicle, you can re-roll the wound roll.
We've got reroll wounds back, baby.
We have it here.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to rag on it too much,
Okay.
but I think for 2 CP, it's a lot. Right?
Is it a battle tactic?
It is a battle tactic, so you could use this for free, potentially.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's really good for your captains.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe on a unit of aggressors, let's say. Like, I think this is really great for your units that maybe don't have the best strength of weapons.
Yeah. I think Hellblasters actually would be really good on. Because
Yeah.
the high AP and you're wounding vehicles pretty much on 5.
And if you stand still, you get +1 to
hit and wound. So you'd be wounding them on 4s with reroll wounds, reroll hits with oath target as well.
I just think for 2 command points, maybe for 2 command points if it was like pick a monster.
Yeah, sure.
And then your army
Everyone,
gets it right.
yeah. Sure.
But overall, I still think it's great. I think it's a very useful stratagem, and when its time comes, it's going to be super good for you.
Yeah, you need to look at putting a captain in with that one, just to make sure that you're getting use of it.
Reboot Gulliman.
Or Reboot Gulliman,
who it maybe is quite good in this detachment.
Yeah, exactly. We'll come to some spicy combos with the Ultramarines in this.
Then next we've got rigid
discipline.
Rigid discipline.
Yeah,
so,
they're very rigid.
So this is another stratagem I really like actually.
Yeah.
End of the fight phase, 1 Adeptus starters unit from your army that is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units.
Yep.
That unit can immediately make a 6-inch fallback move.
Okay.
But when making that move, you must end that move either wholly within your deployment zone or within range of an objective marker.
Okay, so defensive.
Very defensive.
Very defensive stratagem, but really good to make sure that like you can get more models onto an objective.
Yeah, you could get more models on the objective, or even so you can actually shoot the next turn.
Yeah.
So there's none of this I'm going to tie you up type of stuff. One of the biggest ways I think you could use this is, let's say with a unit of aggressors, you fall back 6 inches, you now have stood still in your shooting phase. In the start of your turn.
Yep.
Now you get heavy, now you can shoot. I think there's a lot of play you have with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, swinging objectives I think is a really good one.
Yeah, definitely. Really powerful strat. 1 CP is really good, so I like that one.
Next we have, in my opinion, one of the best stratagems, if not the best.
Okay.
In this, battle drill recall.
Cool.
So not battlefield recall.
I thought they said battle grill recall.
Battle grill recall.
Yeah, exactly. Just cook some hot dogs.
Where we've all decided it's time for lunch.
Yep.
So 1 CP. This is also a battle tactic.
Yep.
So you could use this multiple times, and I think you would be using this multiple times, or even for free. Right?
Sure.
So this is you select 1 Adeptus starters unit from your army, and until the end of the phase, ranged weapons by that model's unit have the sustained 1 ability. And if that unit remains stationary,
right,
you get critical hits on 5s.
So what we're looking at here is all of the units that we've named: Hellblasters, Heavy Intercessors, Normal Intercessors, getting +1 to hit, +1 to wounds. Then they get crits on 5s and sustained for standing still.
Or even a Whirlwind. Right?
Oh.
Which is a unit that wants to stand still anyway.
Yep.
Or maybe a Land Raider. Or maybe a Gladiator.
Yep.
Or anything, really. So I think it's very, very, very strong. I think, like you said, the best examples are those sort of units like Heavy Intercessors.
Yep.
Because they're going to blob on an objective, get loads of shots. You could be then essentially hitting on 2s, re-rolling everything with oath, fishing for 5 for sustained.
Yeah.
Then with a +1 to wound. Yeah. Fantastic. The fact it's also a battle tactic. Captains can allow you to use this free. Uriel Ventress from the Ultramarines allows you to use a stratagem again, even if it's already been used, but you have to then pay the relevant command points for it. Gulliman lets you use a stratagem for free as well.
Yeah.
You notice you can have up to 4 units doing this.
4
right?
unit. If you play Ultramarines, you can have 4 units using the same stratagem in this.
Yeah.
In this detachment.
So I think it's a fantastic stratagem for 1 CP. I think that really outweighs the no threat too great stratagem, being 2.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, love it. Other one I love, not one backwards steps.
Or just no steps in this
or just
detachment.
not stepping.
Yeah, don't step.
No moving.
No steps. Bad footwork.
This is very simple in how this one works. Your command phase, one adept starts infantry in range of an objective marker until the end of the turn. Double the AC characteristic of that objective, but you have to remain stationary.
Okay, so you can pick a unit in your command phase and go, I need this objective, I need the points, so let me just double my OC.
Yeah. So it's not sticky.
Okay.
Like, which is normally like what these sort of stratagems entail.
Yeah.
But doubling your OC, the fact you do this in the command phase, you could use this to flip an objective.
Yep.
Having the stoic defender guy as well, so then you could with the enhancement, so you half your OC to 1.
Yep.
You're still then getting to use this stratagem.
Yeah.
I think it's very good. I think this is a fantastic little stratagem there. Can't use this one for free because it is a strategic ploy.
Okay, sure.
But still,
it's good. It could come in clutch in a few situations, and I do like the mission play with it, which is good.
Yeah. And then finally, we have Hail of Vengeance.
Hail of Vengeance.
Now,
okay, what's this do, mate?
If anyone knows me,
yeah,
which I feel like I've just said, actually.
No, I think people should hear it again, mate.
No. Oh, come on. Right, so everyone has these stratagems, Jord.
Yeah.
It seems every single person I've ever seen have these stratagems.
Yeah.
Even people that don't play 40k
They just have it, mate. It's everywhere.
And they're all different.
Yeah.
So let's see how this one is different.
Yeah.
Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has resolved its attacks. One adept as a starter's unit from your army that had one or more models from it destroyed as a result of that attack.
Okay, right.
You can shoot that unit as if it was your shooting phase. Now, let me just
sorry. Breathe.
We've seen taking below half.
Yeah.
If you're a vehicle.
Yeah.
If you have a judgment token.
Yeah.
If you've died. If you haven't died. If you haven't, nothing's happened. If you've been targeted. If you've been shot. If it's 2 CP. If it's 1 CP. If it's no CP.
If you don't play Warhammer.
It's a great strat.
Yeah.
Shame it's 2 CP in this instance because you have to lose a model as well.
Yeah.
It would have been cooler if it was. This is like a 1 CP in my opinion because you're having to lose a model.
Yeah.
So you can't use this on your tanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, let's say a unit for 5 aggressors or 6 aggressors, 1 dies. Down 5.
You don't want to be losing. Well,
I don't want to lose anyone.
You don't want to lose. Out of, let's say you've got that 6 man. If you lose in one, it's still.
That's 1/6 of sufficiency gone. That's quick maths.
You don't. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, TCP still great. I think it's a very situational stratagem, but I just feel that, if for 2 CPs you could do the battle drill twice.
Yeah.
With Uriel Ventress and just using it normally. For 2 CPs you could Armor of Contempt. You could rigid discipline. There's a lot of stuff you could use here. Just a shame it's TCP, but I don't think I'll ever get bored of saying all the different ways you can shoot your opponent.
I'm actually really surprised you actually remembered every single one of them, mate. Because there's been quite a few. They've been going since the very beginning of the How to Play series, mate. And
there's loads. Yeah. They all require different things to happen.
Yeah.
Great design. I love that as a design that they're all different. No, in all seriousness, as I said, good little stratagem that.
Yeah.
So that does end the stratagems. Overall, good.
There's some really, really spicy ones in there.
Overall, good, not great. Battle Drill Recall is probably the best by a million miles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Then probably followed by Rigid Discipline, then followed by No Threat Too Great.
Yeah, we're not going to include Armor Contempt in that because
everyone has them and we're not including the one that everyone has.
Yeah.
Then they're all different.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's, They've
got some good battle tactics. They've got some really useful stratagems, like not even just offensive ones, but you've got some really good mission play, points play. So yeah, I like it. It definitely makes up for the lack of the enhancement strength.
Yeah. What this is good for as well is one thing to note before we move on is that with that Battle Drill Recall, the fact you could have the sustained 5s and then Oath now only lets you reroll hits.
Yes.
So I guess like their way of dealing with Oath losing reroll wounds is actually just by giving you so many dice.
Yeah.
Because if you think like, if we put, let's say, a Biologus in our unit of aggressors, which is a combo you were seeing a lot in the index with the Bolter Discipline, you've got that for 1 CP in one area.
Yeah.
What's stopping you then doing it twice? So having 2 Biologuses with 2 units of aggressors and having Uriel Ventress going, you can do 1, and then he can do 1 as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Gulliman going, you can do 1, he can do 1.
Exactly.
Right? So I think that's a super good note to have for that. Because then now you've got, because we know how good that aggressive blob is. Now, bear in mind it did have a bit of AP in that Bolt Discipline era, but still the amount of dice you're throwing at someone, you should probably be able to do a bit of damage, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think overall, the armies we're going to see playing this, you're probably going to see Iron Hands.
I think Iron Hands are really good. Iron Father Feroz is really good. So
Yeah.
he gives his unit a 5-up Feel No Pain. So putting him in a big unit of heavy intercessors,
Yes.
like that's a very tanky unit.
Yeah.
That then you can manipulate like its OC by doubling it.
Yeah.
You know, it's standing still and it's got heavy weapons. They get +1 hit and wound. It's just, I think it's great. Yeah.
Ultramarines.
Ultramarines, yeah. Well, like we've said, you've got loads of really spicy characters there. You've got Marnius Calgar can give you extra command points to allow you to use more of these stratagems. And he's in Gravis armor as well, so he could go with some cool Gravis units.
Could go with aggressors, could go with any of them.
Heavy intercessors. You've got Gulliman. Gulliman, again, just giving out those battle tactics. And we've already seen there's 2 fantastic battle tactics in this book.
Yeah.
We've then got, like I said, Uriel Ventress as well.
Ventress,
overall, I think there's some really good play with this.
Yes, definitely.
And I definitely think this is a solid detachment.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, let's look at some units. And then the next thing we'll look at after that will be the army list.
And now for a word from our sponsor, Siege Studios. They are the experts in providing professional miniature painting services, ensuring your armies always look their best on the battlefield. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or just starting out, Siege Studios can help bring your miniatures to life. Don't miss out on their quality craftsmanship.
Okay, Jake, so what's the first guy you want to look at?
So let's talk about someone that hasn't had a lot of love.
Yes.
In the last sort of few years.
Action Man.
Action Man, or the bloke from Toy Soldiers. It's Torgadon. Torgadon. So Torgadon is very cool.
He is.
Now, I know what you're thinking, right? No, he's not. He is cool.
He is.
So first thing he does is while he's leading a unit, he gives that unit ignores cover.
Yep.
Super sweet there.
Yep.
He is a captain, which is something that's going to be note for the little combo we're going to come up with.
Yep.
And the other thing he does is each time this model makes an attack that targets a monster vehicle or fortification unit, improve the strength, AP, and damage characteristic by that attack by 2. So if we look at his stat line, he's got an Artificer Grav gun.
Yep.
18-inch range, 2 shots, hitting on 2, strength 5, -1, 2 damage.
Yep.
So with anti-vehicle 2-up.
Yep.
So if we now look at it from the point of view of, okay, he's now shooting a vehicle with that. He's now strength 7, which doesn't matter too much, but again, it's into a monster it could.
Yep.
-3, flat 4.
Yes.
With 2 shots. So that's super solid already.
Yeah.
And then he has the strong hand.
The hand of defiance. The strong hand.
5 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 12, -2 damage. Now remember, if he's fighting a monster vehicle or fortification, that's going to become strength 14, -4, flat 4. So he's now wounding a Land Raider on freeze, and he's 4 damage apiece at -4.
Yep.
Wow, okay.
Wowzers. So
he becomes like this anti-vehicle nuke.
He's a tactical nuke.
He is a tactical nuke.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
is the Crimson Chin.
He is the Crimson Chin.
And how we can make him better, or even just help his unit out as well.
Yep.
Put him in a unit of aggressors.
Yep.
So aggressors now with ignores cover is going to be super powerful for them.
Yep.
And the other thing we can do is we can actually combo this with a Biologus.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a Biologus can join a unit even if as long as a captain or chapter master is in the unit, so he can be an additional character.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you've got lethal in the unit. You've got ignores cover.
Yep.
And if they're targeting the closest unit, they get +1 AP.
Yep. So we look for Garadon, and he's now AP4 and shooting.
Yeah. So you may be thinking, that's a lot of points to put into something that's going to be anti-tank, but he's going to kill most tanks. Yeah. But also you've got to remember, this is a unit of aggressors. Okay. Yeah. So they've got power fists, they've got a load of shots in their own right. And the other thing about having ignores cover in that unit is quite important. Yeah. These are actually 3 sort of things we want to speak about in this little detachment, because I think the Biologus is really useful for a Gravis or Fiend army.
Definitely.
Aggressors are super good. Heavy intercessors are really good as well.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do as well with this little combo is you could actually sort of have this twice. Because you could have another unit of aggressors with a Biologus, and then you give him the enhancement for ignores cover. So you don't get another Torgadon, let's say. But you do get now 2 blobs of aggressors with lethal ignoring cover.
Exactly.
And then you couldn't do like the 2 lots on them. You could put a captain in that unit as well, so then they can use a stratagem for free.
Exactly.
You can use a stratagem for free.
Yeah.
You've now got both double sustained as well.
Exactly. So you can stretch it on both units if this was the route you wanted to go with, right?
Is that the most optimal thing in the world? Maybe not. But I definitely think at least one of these is quite good.
I think this combo with Tor Garridon, it fits the theme as well. I think for Imperial Fist players, this is definitely the way to go with him, right?
I want to see if he one-shots an Raider.
I think he could one. He could take potentially 8 damage off it before they even get in.
Yeah, and then, even into non-vehicles, he still gets it versus monsters. So those non-emissaries you're seeing, the demon monsters like your Lord of Change, Be'lakor.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to be still flat 4 into them. It's 14.
No, sorry, no, he's not.
Not
monster.
Dante.
He's not monster.
No. A Sagittar.
A Sagittar.
Like you say, you need to do 3 wins to kill a Sagittar.
A Razorback.
A Razorback. Oh, we're hitting the big hitters. But yeah, so very, very solid there. And again, like I said, Biologus, Aggressors. Other things you can do if you want to go down the different chapters, like we've already mentioned, Ironfather Feros is really good.
Yeah.
You've got all of the Ultramarine characters seem amazing in this.
Yeah.
Because it also fits a very Ultramarine play style of, like, you know, Stoic sitting there.
It does,
tactically reacting to things.
Exactly.
But yeah, so
definitely.
Those are definitely some highlight units.
Yeah, I mean, Hellblasters.
Hellblasters as well. With that
very big
captain
one.
as well to give that combo.
Yeah.
Essentially, it may look like we're just sort of focusing around that one stratagem for sustain 5.
But that's
it's such a good stratagem.
It's a big part of this detachment in terms of how you're going to get your damage output pushed, right? Yeah. So, and the Hellblasters have the sweet spot for most units.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think really good shouts for the unit spotlights there. So next we're going to run through a list, and we'll do that now.
We're grateful to have Frontline Gaming as our sponsor. They're a truly one-stop shop for all your gaming needs, from terrain and mats to an extensive range of miniatures in the United States. Plus, their community-focused events are known to foster what we call the Warhammer 40k spirit. So if you want to start playing an event and you're truly passionate about the game, then make sure you attend one of the next Frontline Gaming events.
Okay, so we've made a list, haven't we, Jake?
We have.
So it's actually my granddad's list.
It is your granddad's list.
Yes.
But we've modified it just ever so slightly.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got some really cool combos in here. Some we've already spoken of. So we've got 2 Apothecary Biologuses.
Yeah, so we've already spoken about how good they are
Yep.
to be able to sort of enable our combos. So the fact it gives lethal hits.
Yeah.
We've given one of them the enhancement for the ignores cover as well. Yep. Nice.
Yep, exactly. So we've got both of them. Who they're leading is matchup dependent.
Yeah.
So we'll come to why when we've said the list in the end. But we've got a captain in Gravis armor with Stoic Defender. So that's a 6-up Feel No Pain on the unit and himself. And also you'll be getting half your OC, so you're never going to go to OC 0 with them.
No,
which
exactly.
is good.
So that's super good. You can also use some stratagems on them to double their OC as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So which again you'll come into and make more sense.
Yeah, and the free strat. Tor Garridon, he's a warlord.
So this is an Imperial Fist theme list.
Exactly.
We've already come into,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Tor Garridon's leading the army. A, for cool bonus points, and B, he still has play. He is a tactical nuke.
Could be cool to actually see him. I've never actually seen anyone. I've seen him as the base of conversion, as we have here. But,
exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. It'd be cool to see him. Then battle line, we've got 10 heavy intercessors. So 1 unit of 10. It's going to be really tough to move that. And they're just going to bunker down on an objective and get us some primary points. So yeah, really good there. We've then got 2 units of 6 aggressors.
Yes.
So
that combo we spoke about earlier, we have done. So we've gone with 2 units. So either the captain can go with, it really is dependent on like the matchup you're playing. So either you could have the sort of Torgadon with the non-ignores covered by Locus in 1 unit. And then the captain could either join the heavy intercessors. So he can allow them to use Armor Contempt for free, he can allow them to use that Battle Drill for free. The Apothecary Biologus could go with the other unit of aggressors so they ignores cover. Or you could put the captain with the aggressors if you really need to get some damage in there.
Exactly.
Or you could put them with another unit, which we've also got on the list, which is the 6 Eradicators.
6 Eradicators, exactly.
So again, we've got loads of options there. So so we've got 6 Eradicators, and then we've got Desolation Marines.
5 Desolation Marines. A unit that benefits from standing still anyway, so they're going to work really well with this detachment. Great synergy there. Then we've got 2 Redemptors. 2 Redemptors.
2 Redemptors. So very tanky models, great 2-up save, -1 damage, and then they've got plasma, so they've got a bit of damage free in there as well. So that's super, super good. And then we've got 2 units of scouts, is it? 2 5-man scout squads. They're our mission play units. They're to run around, do all the missions while everyone else wants to stand still. Stop us getting infiltrated on as well, which is super key. And then finally, to round up the list, we have a Storm Speeder Hail Strike. This will give us a pip of AP against something that it has hit. Only it doesn't work against monsters and vehicles. So it's not going to help us in those matchups. But what it's going to help do is going to help push the aggressors a bit further against those infantry. Like, you're going to be making them AP2 then. So it's getting that
old bolt.
Maybe
edition
like
back.
versus something like a big brick of Crusaders, a big brick of Deathwing Knights.
Yeah.
Maybe even like your Tyranids or something.
Yeah.
Like again, if you're like not got a lot of AP.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole instances of stuff that this is very good for. So yeah, no, I really like that.
Yeah, some really cool combos. So yeah, I genuinely think that it's got play. You've got an answer to most things with the list, but again, we're leaning into those combos with the stratagems and stuff, aren't we? So really good, really good.
Nice, cool.
Yeah.
Overall, I think this is an okay detachment.
Yeah.
Definitely not one that jumps out of at you.
No.
Maybe something like the any of the other ones in here.
Yeah.
But still has some awesome combos, some awesome stuff you can do with it, and really fits a nice sort of very slow moving, tactile theme. So.
And if that's your play style, you're going to love this. If you're an Imperial Fist player or Iron Hands player,
or Ultramarines,
or Ultramarines, or Space Marine player.
If you're any type of Space Marine, I think if you're going to find a benefit of this attachment.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. But guys, thank you for watching, and make sure to leave a comment if you obviously are excited for this, if there's any other combos that we may have missed, or anything that you think would work really well with this detachment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next detachment video very soon.